So, mate, there was a good chat that we had last week. You remember when at the end of the podcast you were trying to tell me that lawn bowls is actually quite fun? And did you end up drinking with the fam?
Yeah, I think I had 4 beers in 2.5 hours. So nothing
Proves my point.
over the top. And so I was still pretty sober while I was playing. Had a great time. Fun, electric, loved it.
Did you have me in the back of your mind going, fuck, if I wasn't drinking beers right now?
Mate, it's very it's a sturdy head, this one. There's not much noise, especially when I'm applying my craft in lawn bowls.
I thought you'd be one of the greats of head noise.
I do get noisy in some situations, that's for sure. But no, once I'm locked in, I'm locked in. My brother did have my measure though. I will say that.
Smashed you.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, didn't he let me know about it? I'm talking, we were drinking till 12 in the morning and he was still talking about it. He was like, oh, go get your old man a beer, will you? Like shit like that.
Didn't you say your old man backed that roughie?
He's younger than me. What's that?
You said your old man backed that roughie?
Yeah, what's it called?
Room number,
yeah. So
something like that.
3 weeks ago, me and 4 or 5 mates sitting on the couch, and some of my mates aren't massive punters. So they just said, come on, Kevy, give us a tip, mate. Like, give us something at 10s or 20s. This thing was 30-1 3 weeks ago. And he said, I have 5 a win, 15 a place. It ran a place, $6.50 the place. And then so Dad sort of sent me a message in the morning on Saturday and said, oh, that thing's in again if you want to tell your mates. And I thought, oh, fuck, it's 100. I won't even worry about it. It was 30s out to 100s. And then it won. And I messaged Dad. I said, oh, did you back it or did you death ride it? And he had, $7.50 a win, $12.50 a place or something. At
80s?
Yeah, it was, he took 94.30 and 17s or something.
Wow, arsey.
Yeah, a little bit.
I love that. I love that. And do you know what? It didn't just win. It won by like nearly 2 lengths.
Looked like a $2 shot.
It shits me on that shit up in the back.
And yeah. No,
I had a pretty shocking day, to be honest. Like, there was a lot of stuff that didn't really go according to plan, but especially a freaking ram week. How'd you go? You said you were up at the end of the day? Yeah,
I had a pretty good day in the end. The ones that I really liked, I stepped in. Which was good. Yulong January and in the boat. So took obviously reasonable prices about both and sort of really, yeah.
Did you do the double?
I didn't do the double. I'm not really a multi man. So
yeah.
I don't know.
They're pretty fun, mate.
Sometimes, like, I think there's too many good offers out there for $50 punters to not use them. Like back a horse like Yulong January, I'll have 50 on Sportsbet, 50 at Ladbrokes, and 50 on Sportsbet, and try and get bonuses back for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So rather than having 100, but yeah, I do like the multi's a good idea, but it's just nothing worse than getting done first leg or something.
Been there before, mate. But wasn't Yulong January good?
Oh, but did exactly what we said. Like,
what about the start? I'm like, when I said, I go, do you reckon we'll find that lead easy? You're like, yeah. And look what happened.
Doesn't it jump? Like, it just springs out of the gates.
And
he knows what he's doing, that horse. He's smart.
It's fucking good.
He's a good benchmark 100 horse.
Good jock too. Cartwright had a good day. I think he rode like 3 or 4 or something.
You definitely, the 2 kilo claim that he gets, I reckon he's better than that. So you actually get something on your side with his claim. He's going good.
All right. Well,
good day, really.
That's it. We'll get into it. So welcome to another episode of Gives a Spell. We're going to be looking at Moonee Valley on Zach. This is Nick. If you haven't joined, we've got a fair few people in that Facebook group now. So we're still plodding along. A few of the other boys are going down to Melbourne this weekend. Pricks, going to the tennis, going to the fucking races, going to the cricket, staying next door to the Crown Casino. Bastards, but fuck those guys. But what are your thoughts, mate? You had a little look at Moonee Valley. You like it?
Yeah, I've had a bit of a look. That some of the good horses coming back into play now, even up in Sydney as well, which is really good. I don't know. It's always a bit of an awkward time of year. Like, the trainers start bringing their horses back now, trying to get runs under the belt. So, getting happier, getting a little bit happier.
So what we'll do, we'll go through Moonee Valley. I might get your thoughts before then. Maybe the Anamoe race, maybe the main race at Queensland. Then we got some bit of rapid fire at the end, mate. I'm going to we'll go through our opinions on certain tracks, jockey v jockey, horses v horses and stuff. First, let's just talk. We mentioned Anamoe before. What are your thoughts? So I recorded a podcast this afternoon for Sydney punters with Tom and Kohai, and we talked about Anamoe that it now is $1.70 going around this week. We all know that Anamoe is a gun, right? So it's $1.70, pretty short. Standouts there. Standout was getting chatted for an Everest last year for a possible slot. So there's Everest. There's a few others that I think Forbidden Love is there. What are your thoughts? Tiger and Malay, like Kohai loves that at $9.50 and $2.50 or whatever it is. But thoughts, would you be jumping into $1.70 Anamoe? Would you have a little spec each way Standout or Tiger and Malay? What do you reckon?
For me, it's just I reckon it's a bit of a watch race, to be honest. Like you got Anamoe over 1200 first up, coming off a Cox Plate. Well, maybe not a Cox Plate prep, but at least a 1600 meter prep.
Yeah, cool.
And then it's run well in a Cox Plate. So, geez, $1.70 against open horses first up over 1200 in a 7-8 horse field.
Pretty short.
I wouldn't be. It's got to get out, but the punters just love this horse, don't they? Like,
I don't know if it will get out. I reckon it'll start pretty short.
I can't find one to beat it. That's for sure.
Or if you're picking one, if you had one, okay, who comes second?
I think Tiger and Malay.
Yeah.
To be not, I don't know. It's got a nice fresh record. It's obviously coming out of a similar sort of setup to Anamoe. They all came through the same races as well. Ran pretty well there. Standout's like one of those horses. It's just not quite up to the top class, but then doesn't win a Group 2 and 3 level either.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
yeah. I don't mind Standout though. I think Standout's a bit underrated sometimes, but also if it's up against Anamoe this weekend, I don't know. But it's been backed ever since. Even when we did it at the Savo, when we recorded the Savo at $7.50, it's now $6.50. So some people are taking a little stab. Even if you take that as a place, you know, and if there's 8 horses to stay in this race, mate, you take $1.80 a place on that, or what's Tiger Malay $2.30.
Could Wisdom of Water run a good race?
Coming off what it's done.
I don't know. Like
on the trot, it was good on the weekend.
Like it's a pretty for her to bring Wisdom of Water to this race. Like obviously thinks it's going pretty well.
Yeah,
you're not going to just get down to run 6th. So it's not a very strong race. I wouldn't be surprised if it ran in the top 3 or 4. But
yeah,
not taking Anamoe on, but certainly not launching in.
Yeah. What do you think? Talking to short odds, did you watch Enthar yesterday?
I did.
$1.45 4-horse race comes 4th. Any thoughts on Jai sort of holding it up a touch at the 600? Something I noticed.
Trainer's instructions were we want to teach her to settle.
Yeah.
That has to be the only answer. And I just think 4-horse field, you've got a horse with speed. Why are we trying to change that? You know what I mean? Just let it go. Let her go. If she's racing, just let her run. And if they catch you at the end of it, they catch you at the end of it. Look at Nature Strip. He's made millions of dollars out of just being quicker than everyone else. I don't understand why we need to change that. So
get to the front and hope for the best. Yeah, I was a bit surprised.
I thought it was a pretty. I don't like bagging jockeys too much, but I thought it was a pretty intriguing ride. It's obviously under strict instruction that there's bigger fish to fry, and we want to train her to settle. Yeah. So that's all I took out of it.
It just hurts when you see it going $1.45. You know it's a gun to come forth. But
last by 5 lengths.
Yeah, but 4-horse races are chat. If you're taking the $1.40 in a fucking 4-horse field, you're a good. And I probably did. I've done it before. So another couple of races before we do Moonee Valley, Sunny Coast. I was just going to mention the one race, but you told me just before that you like something, I think in race 7. So Slow Hands, it's been backed. So I don't know how much we're going to push it now, but it was $8 yesterday. It's now $4.80. Why does it win at race 7?
Ran 4th 2 weeks ago. Just never got a real crack at him. Couldn't really get the revs going. Weaved through. Actually can't believe it didn't run 3rd. Ran 4th by I don't know how far. I literally watching the replay. I've watched it 10 times. I still can't believe hasn't run 3rd.
I remember, yeah.
And against C Raider, really right? Good run. What's that?
C Raider won.
Yeah. And it wasn't rattled home. And that was over 1400. Gets to 1600 now. Just looks like a perfect sort of setup for it. Yeah.
Would you still take the 480?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's obviously been well backed, but I think 480 is still like a reasonable price. I wouldn't say 480 is unders.
Yeah.
$10 was overs, so 480 is probably about right, but I think it's still there. I really like it.
Okay. Sunny Coast Cup though. Harrovian and Desert Lord equal faves. Look, there's a few horses here that we know. East Asia's there, Animate's there. Oscar Zulu obviously won a couple of weeks back at Sydney, pretty good win. Scalapini, chapter and verse. Look, it's a pretty good race, but it's something that I'm definitely not fucking confident in putting my hard earned on. So, do you have any thoughts on the race?
I haven't actually done the form for the race. The Harrovian obviously went on that massive streak. Was it last year?
Yeah,
I think it was last year, didn't it, as well?
It won. I don't know, but it won a bunch in a row.
Yeah, it's not coming through with the exact same sort of form that it was in, but still running well. He's bloody hard to oppose. He's like just such a tough prick. Like, didn't Desert Lord promise to be something when he was a bit younger?
I still think it's pretty good. I still reckon he's all right. Yeah. I know that he's, I can't remember the one he won. It won a listed race at the Sunny Coast. What was it? It was fucking in the winter. I can't remember what it was, but it was good. It was a good win. But I guess I'm a bit iffy still. It's only had one run since then and a bunch of trials. So, yeah. I don't know.
Not too much opinion. Scalapini looks overs, like just from having a look now.
That's what you see that one as well. I reckon too. I like the O'Day horse. What's that?
Like two lengths off Isotope.
Yeah.
I have to go back and watch the run, but
we'll
16 is big price with 56.
We'll have to have a look. All right, Moonee Valley time, mate. You look a bit tired. Have you had a big night or something?
Nah, I had a bit of a training session tonight. We did 11.2 Ks or something. So
we're just running. Is that what you have a thing on you?
I wear a watch.
Oh,
wear a watch.
11 kilometers.
Yeah, 11.2 tonight, and that was without the warm up.
What are you guys doing? Just drills.
Drills, yeah. We're starting to sort of get into our gameplay stuff now. So like a lot of like, I know you don't know much about AFL, but
I know everything about AFL, mate. Bit of kick tennis.
Spreading away from the contest, and then once the other team get the ball, working back and defending. So you think about the size of an AFL field. If you work the ball from one end to the other, you're doing 200, and then on the way back, you're probably covering another 200. And you do those. It's a fair bit. And then at the end of training tonight, the coach pulled us in and said, "Great session. Been an awesome session, lads. Just got a 15-minute running block now as well, finishing off." And the running block was a minute and a half at 90%, and then a minute at like 50, 60%, and 6 sets. So like
the big lads hate that shit, eh?
Oh, I just like, I like because there's 30 or 40 of us in the session. So you sort of, everyone gets up and about and gets each other through it. So it's pretty fun.
I remember back in the day when I was probably like your age, we'd be playing rugby, and beginning of preseason, whatever, they do beep tests. Fucking beep tests, like what you did at school and shit. And I remember I was fucked like so early, and I'm like, all right, all I need to do is just beat one of the front rowers. It's all I need to do. And just waited for one of the big units to get out. And I was like, that's me. Fuck, aren't they the worst?
It's more of a mental test than a physical test, mate.
Yeah. And then whoever like is like the last one's like standing, just throwing his dick around, just thinking he's the man.
Yeah.
Anyway, Moonee Valley, race 1. I assume we mentioned just before, you don't really like anything. Look, it's a 1500 meter benchmark 70. I'm hoping pace is on too. Now we've got Moonee Valley, and we've got Rose Hill, which was a joke 2 weeks ago. So maybe a bit of speed on Saturday. But what do you reckon? Don't really like anything in the first?
I got no real opinion, to be honest. There's a few people talking about this. Is it Zuriski?
Yeah.
A Moody horse.
Moody horse.
Trying it in the market. If there's money for it, they reckon it's probably going pretty well. So, but other than that, nothing.
Keep out.
And McCool, the smartest thing he's ever done is leave country racing in Sydney.
He's a gun, mate.
Isn't he good? Gun. Yeah.
So, he's no apprentice anymore either.
And it's huge that he's riding for someone like Moody, because I do think that Moody looks for those underrated jockeys and tries to get something out of him. So if Moody's got an opinion of him, it's always a pretty good sign.
Yeah. Let's go to the second then. 1 over the mile. American Angels at 320. It's been smashed though. 460 even today. It's been backed in. Sweet Carolina's there at 440. Was 650. Star of Eden's been backed into 440. Starring Roll's been backed. There must have been a scratching or something. Oh yeah, Yonce ran yesterday on Wednesday.
$1.40 or something.
Yeah. So it did ran pretty well. So yeah, give or take a couple of deductions here. But what do you like in the second?
American Angel's going well. But I just think it's a bit of like a plugger. Like it doesn't have massive turn of foot. And it sort of just gets to the front, and even its last win, it got to the front and didn't show, like you're thinking it's going to accelerate away from the field, and it just didn't. So I like Sweet Carolina. Its first go at 1600 this prep was last start, and it took her till the last sort of 200 to really get going and then smash the line. And I love when a horse, when the trainers, especially Corsten, smart trainers, they kept it at, they obviously think 1600's the go. Yeah. Johnny Allen on board, he'd get that whip out and he'll do his thing. But I think 440 is a pretty good price for Sweet Carolina. I actually really like the way she hit the line last start. So I'm expecting a pretty good run.
I like that. You sound very confident on that one, mate. Another mile race is favourite Stay Gold, 240. Jamie Carr aboard for O'Brien. We got Zoltan for Linda Meach. Hates riding in the front, doesn't she? Hates riding leaders. Just Dark Wanderer, 650. Polanco. Musclebrook. Fuck, Musclebrook must be old. What is it, 6 now? Then we're out to bigger odds. But anything here? You a Zoltan man? You like a bit of Linda Meach?
Yeah, I like Linda. She's got gate 1 as well. It'll be interesting to see if goes forward. Doesn't like traditionally go forward. This horse usually in the middle of the field.
As a jockey, she's a really good front running jock.
I don't think there's a better front running rating jockey.
Yeah,
she's on par with Tim Clark.
Yeah, I was going to say Tim.
I reckon. That Tuvalu that it ran second to at Warrnambool is smart. Like good horse. Really like the way it looks.
Yeah,
I think $1.30 or $1.40 that day, and it ran really well to run second to it, albeit a couple of lengths behind. But like the way it ran that day. Haven't been that impressed with Stay Gold. I know it gets 54, but haven't been. I don't know. People are raving about the horse and think it's going to be destined for something else. But I like Zoltan a fair bit, to be honest.
Okay. Zoltan over the fave, 440. Take it.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty reasonable price for sure.
2,040 meter, famous distance at Moonee Valley. We got Dunder Cheat, $3.10. Was $3.20, so pretty much what it opened. Reliable Dudes at 440, bit of a drift. Pitchinun, 440. That's been backed. That's for Jamie Carr aboard for O'Brien. Rasu, $10, and we get out to bigger odds for the rest. Bit of coin that for Pitchinun. Jamie Carr, who do you like?
I like Reliable Dude. I backed last start. It was pretty short. I think it was $2 or $2.20 or something.
$2, yeah. Lost to Dirty Deeds.
Yeah, it was 2 and 3 deep the trip. Didn't really look like it got settled and still hit the line reasonably well. That was over 1,800, gets an extra 200. I reckon that's going to be huge for it. Like it looked like it was sort of just starting to build the revs up in the last 200 or 300 meters. Came down the outside, thought it was going to win enough. Not Dirty Deeds, not Dirty Deeds.
It's the worst, yeah, bro.
So I think gate 11, it probably goes back. I can't imagine it being in the first couple, which is not something I usually like to bet on. But yeah, I think it's a good horse. I think it's shown enough ability to be. I can't see if it's got the blinkers on still. It had the blinkers on last start. So if they're sticking with that, it doesn't say they're off. So if they're on, I'll be pretty happy with that. I reckon, 2,000 looks its go. 440, yeah.
Right, Reliable Dude. Race 5 is, what are we at? 1,200 meters. So a bit of a sprint race. We got Pinstriped, 280, been back in from 370. You got Finance Tycoon, slight drift for Danny O'Brien. Danny Street Darcy at 5s. Luna Cats there, Lord Paramount, Jaeger, etc. This favourite's been pretty backed for Mickey D.
Yeah, I don't have anything to knock on it. It's obviously only had the one start for one win. So it's obviously on the up. I like Finance Tycoon a fair bit though. Like this horse ran the Ingratiating Ranch hand race and was actually really well backed. It was like $4 or $5 into 280, nearly jumped favourite over Ingratiating that day. Obviously, nothing went right. Led that day and just
it did lead, didn't it? I was trying to remember. It did lead and then just fell away.
led them all up and then just fell away. And then interesting to see, only one run for the prep, has 140 days off, and then they bring it back nice and early. So I reckon they've got it up and about. Danny O'Brien's handy trainer. I don't know. I just think 310 looks a pretty good price in this field. Like Ranch Hand and Ingratiating are both smart horses. And if the punters rated this horse as a $2.70, $2.80 chance against those two, without knowing that it had an injury or something not go quite right, I'm pretty happy. I reckon it'll be interesting to see how it goes in this race.
They must know something about this pinstripe, like one win at Mo, obviously, and then just already been backed in a whole point. So,
well, it won by 5.5.
Yeah,
debut. So
people get a bit excited at that, don't they? Yeah. Remember, it was at Mo. It was at Mo. Another mile.
Any race that's over the 1,117, it's probably not good.
Means the track's fantastic. All right. Race one of the quaddie. Gentleman Roy is the fave, 240. This is over the mile. Agnelli is 650. Tough choice. We've got Delightful Journey at sevens. Was 19. Smashed. Barrier 9. Gracias Amigo, 10s. And then we go out some bigger odds. Look, this thing, Delightful Journey, 19s into 7. No deductions. So it's just straight money. Why? What's it done? Had a win at Cranbourne, right?
No idea. Won by 4.5 leading that day too. I don't know. Maybe it's going okay. It's a pretty peculiar sort of trainer little combo. So if there's money for it, I don't know.
It doesn't take a lot, to be honest. We all know how much it takes to fluctuate a market, but
especially early in the week.
What do you like?
I'm not mad on the race. The one I backed last week, Unfair Dismissal, all the way down the bottom, $26. I backed it last start, and it was actually a pretty ordinary ride, to be completely honest. It's back on the fence. Then you had to bring it all the way to the outside, and then its last 200 was really, really good. That was over 1,400, and we go to 1,600 now. So I reckon that'll suit. That race was at Sandown as well, which I actually thought we suit that horse. I thought it'd race in the first couple. I'm hoping it races in the first couple this weekend. So I'm going to have a little play at $26 there. John McNeil rode it that day and sticks as well. So always a good sign. 26 is probably overs, but not a huge interest in the race.
Not confident, but worth a little couple of bucks. Sweet.
Yep.
$6 a place too. Could run a hole. Look, this looks like a bit of a lock. Who knows? But this is the Australia Stakes. Marabi, pretty damn good horse, right? Coming off a couple of, what is it now? Five wins, I think it is. Yep, yeah. 5 wins, and then its last start was bloody good too, that was where away game sucked me in. Because I thought away game was huge, and away game just flew for a second. But 210 into $1.80. Kieran Murray and Dave Eustace, they know their horses really well. Cinewine's there, Lightsaber. Streets of Avalon, maybe might take it up, might be up the front. Tarath is there, even a little bit of coin for Wild Planet. But look, can anything beat Marabi, or what's going to come second to it?
Actually a pretty good race. Like the more you look at it, it's like Lightsaber is a really handy horse. I thought they'd run it in the Sandown Guineas after sort of like not good enough to win a Caulfield Guineas or any of those races. Or like
the Sandown Guineas.
Yeah, I thought it'd just be like a really suitable race for it.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see how it goes first up. It's interesting they brought it back so early too. I wonder what their target is. And then Turath as well is one of those horses that we sort of liked last prep. Wasn't all that impressed first up. I didn't think it didn't look like the Turath of last preparation, but who knows, second up, they backed it up pretty quickly on, I think it's been a week or two between runs. So obviously going okay, but I don't think anything's going to beat Marabi if it keeps doing what it's been doing.
Who's going to be up the front with it?
Avalon? I'd say Streets of Avalon will be. And then, yeah.
It comes to like, if they piss each other off, they can sometimes just go too hard, right? And then
absolutely,
we know what can happen.
That Mariami, or how you say that, could go to the front as well and be a bit of a pest.
Yeah, there's nothing worse when you're on a shorty and then one of the like 50s or 60s gets up front and really, because it's a thoroughbred, right? It wants to fucking sprint, wants to let go, and they've got this roughy next to it. If you're a jock, you just be like, mate, piss off. Like,
I'll give you a cut of the winnings. I'll give you a cut. My least favorite is when the other horse goes up the inside, and then you're
stuck there. You can tell you tell you're cooked if they don't let you like peel in, and you're just sitting there outside the leader.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just excited to see how she goes. Like,
yeah,
pretty cool. Like, even beating a horse like away game is really good form. So,
wins.
To go well. Yeah, wins.
Let's go wins. 1,000-meter dash. Now these are the fun ones at the Valley. Midwest is the fave. 320 was 370. A little bit of coin. Holt is there at 390. Kev's Girl. 850. We got the Big Easy, Mr. Yushu, Cosmic Rhapsody. We got bigger odds. Not something I know a heap about. Looks like the favourite's been, had a bit of specking too. Barrier 11, got the Apprentice on, claiming 3. 1,000-meter dash. Thoughts?
I like Midwest. I'm worried about 811 because there's just a shitload of speed.
Speed inside.
I think Holt will be trying to lead as well. But you know what? Gate 11 can sometimes be okay because it means you just stay out wide until you cross over.
As long as you nail the start.
Exactly. In the Boat did that not last start, but the start before that. It had like gate 18 and just they just kept it out there and let it just come across. So, but you've only got 1,000 meters to do it. I like Midwest. It'll be definitely the one that I'll be with. Whether I want to jump in at 320 with the situation that we're going to be in, I don't know, but it's definitely the best horse in the race.
Yeah, I have to agree. Go the last, another 1,000-meter one. These are good. 550 the field to end the day. That's always fun. Punters at Moonee Valley. Little Stevie's slammed it all. Little Stevie's the fave, 550. Champagne Dreams is there at 650. Sweet Zoo at 9s. More Soul Obsession, Distillate. Mate, there's a bunch there at around the $9, $10, $11, man. There's heaps of them. So no idea you're in the last. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I hate to be boring, but I've got genuinely no opinion. So I'm not gonna rattle my mouth without knowing. So no.
Give me Little Stevie. I'll just go with it. Barrier 3, bit of speed. $5.50, $6. Sweet with that.
It's so funny. It's so funny with the dribble, right? Like, in my family, I'm known as just the dribbler, like just chats shit. Like,
yeah.
So me and my brother were having a swim at the beach the other day, and like, we're not from the beaches, so we don't know like everything about swell and all that sort of stuff.
God, get in the flags, mate.
We stay in the flags.
Got your rashy on.
Yeah, zinc across the schnoz.
Yeah.
I need a whole tub. So Sam says to me, my brother, he goes, now I'm going to ask you a question. And if you don't know the answer, don't bullshit me. Don't try and form something like you always do. And I was like, right, I ask it. And that's hard for me because usually I just try to back through it. And he goes, where do waves form from? Like, how does it happen? And my mouth went to open to start dribbling shit about like tectonic plates. And
that's what I would have said. That's what I would have said.
And Sam goes, you just stop. And I was like, I'll stop.
That's right, isn't it? Tectonic plates, a bit of movement under the earth.
Yeah, I think so, but I couldn't say it with enough confidence.
No.
It was pretty funny.
You always want to have an opinion on that stuff too. You're like, yeah, I know the beach, I know the surf. Where's my board?
I did geography in year 8.
Bro, don't start me on teaching things you don't know. You'll get there, mate. You'll get there. You'll understand how fun it is. If you got to lock in one horse at Moonee Valley, what's your big? I reckon you were pushing race 2 pretty hard, which was Sweet Carolina.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sweet Carolina?
Sweet Carolina, and I like Zoltan a bit as well. I like that, race 2 and 3. They're probably the two that I'm the most keen on in terms of price as well. They're both around that 450 mark. So I think if one of those wins, I'll be stoked. And Slow Hands is, I wouldn't be surprised if they keep backing it too.
Okay. Let's go through.
And then the roughy unfair dismissal is the value one
at 26s.
26.
Got a couple of questions. I want to see your opinion on a couple of I don't know, one or the other. We wrote down a couple during the week. What do you like more to have a punt at? If I was to give you Rosehill or Canterbury?
Rose Hill.
Any reason? Especially after 2 weeks ago. Because the only reason I do it is Canterbury obviously leader bias, and then what happened to Rose Hill sometimes rails a bit hot.
Yeah, Rose Hill. First thing would be that it's my local track, so I actually just like the fact that I can get there and stay. Like
you're a Westie, we get it. Yeah,
the bookies. And then in terms of track and betting, there sometimes is a pattern at Rose Hill, and obviously there's a pattern at Canterbury as well. But yeah, you can pick up on a pattern at Rose Hill, but then I think 70% of the time it races reasonably even. And
that's true.
I've had really nice wins there. My biggest win happened when the Autumn Sun won the Golden Rose a couple of years ago. So yeah, good memories of Rose Hill. So I'll go Rose Hill. But Canterbury do an awesome job, like of Friday nights. Have you been down there for a night?
I have. I've done it before. They've got like food trucks and like rides and stuff, and the horses obviously aren't fantastic. And to be honest, it hasn't been just leaders winning the whole time lately. Probably these sort of line, but yeah, I like it. They do a really good job there. I haven't done any of that. I did the Twilight on the Kenzo in December, I think it was. I like those Twilight meetings. They're sick.
There's something in it.
I do like it
for sure.
What about if I was to give you Randwick and Warwick Farm? So Randwick, obviously one of the GOATs, right? Or another Sydney track. Is Randwick your go-to number one?
Yeah. Randwick is the most. Yeah, I think just consistently the most even track. Warwick Farm plays pretty even, actually, to be honest. But yeah, Randwick's just the pinnacle of Sydney, isn't it? I reckon it's probably it's the top tier. When the races are at Randwick, you're going to get good horses winning and everything going pretty much to plan.
Speaking of pinnacles at racing, Moonee Valley or Flemington?
Flemington, get me to headquarters.
So you'd rather be there, even Cox Plate Day?
Nah, I've been to a Cox Plate Day and everyone's on top of each other. There's no room. The Valley gives me the shits more than any other track in the country.
Are you done on Friday night, Valley?
Yeah, I don't mind Friday nights at the Valley, but like, who are the horses running? Like,
I got Manicato.
Yeah, the Manicatos and the Moy obviously exciting, but in terms of just the normal Fridays, like really, who's running? Yeah. Flemington is headquarters. It's the Don.
What about some horses? We got two greats who won some awards just the other day, Nature Strip and Very Elegant. Who are you more inclined to say you like more?
I like Very Elegant more, only because I've probably caught her a little bit more, which I don't want to make.
Let's ignore that. Yeah, let's ignore the punt. So to me, I love sprint races, right? I love the 1200 meter dash, 1100, 1300, whatever. And I love how Nature Strip just takes it up. Like we said before, how Nature Strip takes it up and just hopes for the best. Do you know? It's all no matter what, you're going to be in the race. Do you know what I mean? If you back Nature, unless it completely butchers the start, you are always, no matter every time you back Nature Strip, you're going to be in the race. It's going to be a good watch for you. You might come first, you might come fourth. These other races, these distance races, you don't know where you're going to be, right? But I'm not bagging Very Elegant, and I'm not. But I think
you are. I think
no, I can't. Obviously,
I think you're a bit sexist.
Yeah, well, mate. I love the five-legged horse, but just reminds me of myself. But why Very Elegant? Apart from the punt,
I think she's got an aura about her when she's running. I think I personally love sprint racing, but I also think that the best, those weight for age races between sort of 1600 and 2000, like your Queen Elizabeths, your Cox Plates, even like all the way through the Randwick Carnival as they build up those races that Winx was running in all the time. I reckon there's a certain something about those races too. I don't know, when she's in, I think there's something about her colours as well that's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like everyone gets behind her. She's probably, other than the sprinters, she's probably the best we've had since Winx retired. I reckon you could say.
Winx or Caviar then?
A bit biased because since being an adult and like I've always been into racing, like been to 150 race meetings by age 7. So it's not that, but I think I've enjoyed it the most the last 5 or 6 years. I've never felt the nerves that I felt when I watched Winx race. Did you get that? Like where you feel
every time? Well, yeah. So the nerve and the fact that a lot of friends who do not punt, like do not bet on anything would all got a feeling that they wanted to watch Winx, and they loved it, and they loved the thrill of this streak going. And especially when I worked at Sky, like our control room would be completely silent. Like people were just getting goosebumps and stuff. And when she won or got to that 200 or 300 meter mark, mate, just everyone just going berserk. But don't get me wrong, like I was probably a bit younger too, and I wasn't as into my racing as I was when Black Caviar. What years was Black Caviar carving? The thing is that
2013-ish.
Went overseas too, so that's a big plus to me, right? Went over, took the thing. Luke Nolan nearly butchered it for a legacy, but sorry, you in Winx's camp. I'm in Winx's camp.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
400 meters or 1500, say 1500 at Rose.
Yep.
They both get like ample time to train for it, so they can both train for it. It's not just like a random race in the middle of their preps. Who's winning?
Winx.
I think so too.
Okay, let's go back to it again. It's a bit hard. All right, so let's say 1100. Bit of bread and butter for Caviar. Doesn't do much, just chills in the paddock. Not a whole lot of training, but Winx has a bunch of training under her belt for 1100. But yeah, you know what I mean. So could Winx ever, according to training and maybe like, you know, Caviar having a bit of time in the paddock and whatnot, could she ever beat her at 1100?
Yeah, big statement, but Winx, if trained to do so, would have won an Everest.
Could she have won a cup?
Yep.
She was one of those horses that she could run all distances, eh? That was the cool thing.
That's the coolest part. And the opposition, like people don't
clap
like,
yeah.
Yeah, like they're good horses. Like Hartnell, he's a champion any other generation. Champion.
And happy clap.
And then you look at you look at Black Caviar, like Haylist. Like I know Haylist would have been a champion without her, but who else? Like there's no other horse that came through those races, and he picked which races he wanted to do with her. And I'm not taking away from like how good she was. To win 25 races in a row is just unbelievable. But I just reckon, yeah, I'm Winx. I'm firm Winx.
I'm firm Winx. People still bag her and say like she was up against some ordinary thing, but I doubt it. She was just that much better than fucking the rest. But Anamoe is back this week. So would you be in Anamoe camp, or you just mentioned Autumn Sun before? Who you like more, and why?
Yeah, I have to take my bias hat on because I've had like some awesome times backing the Autumn Sun, and he's one of my favorite horses ever. I think in terms of talent, how do you like the Autumn Sun sort of stopped racing when we were trying to figure out how good he could be. Like if Winx didn't run in that Cox Plate, he probably would have run in it, I dare say. But it was sort of like just retire him. He's worth the bloody mint factory. Like, that's it. Whereas Anamoe, like he's coming out as a 3-year-old and basically won a Cox Plate. So it's sort of hard to compare the two. But you probably have to say on sheer what they've both done, you probably have to go with Anamoe, don't you?
I think so, but could all change on the weekends. It could change on the weekend. I want to mention something we've sort of mentioned this before. I've talked about my friends with it a lot, but the carnivals across the year. So if I was to say autumn v spring to you, to me, I'm going to assume you agree with me, and we say autumn is hands down Sydney, and then spring is Melbourne. But do you think, because to me, when I look at, is the Melbourne spring just a bit of nostalgia compared to actually what's going on? So at the moment, Sydney have just been up in the ante, and Melbourne aren't. Melbourne are doing like, fuck yeah, we got like All-Star Mile and stuff in autumn, whatever. Like then compared to what Volandis is doing, which I really think they do need another version of Volandis to do it. But I've always said it, autumn Sydney, Melbourne spring. But then I've just been thinking about it. Maybe it's just the nostalgia. Like they've got the cup and they've got all this other stuff. What do you reckon?
It's a good question. Sydney autumn is good. Like it is so good. There's that. Is it the championships they have?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yep.
Like that is even the way they
2 days of the championships. You
get like 8 or 9 Group 1s over the 2 weeks, and then you've got
mad.
even like the country champs and the provincial champs.
Yeah.
Like, the way that Sydney racing do it is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
But there's something about having your mates around on October 31 or November 2nd and sun's out, beers, and it's at beautiful Flemington. Like, yeah.
Do you think that might die away if they don't change what they're doing? Or they don't revamp or do something?
I heard something interesting the other day about Cup Day, and about like Darley Sprint Classic Day in the Emirates. They're thinking about either bringing that forward or pushing that back another 2 weeks, because people are just going up for either the Golden Eagle or they're going in that the race that Masked Crusader ran in. Like, there's more money up here. So unfortunately, like, horse racing people that are involved in the business don't really care what fans think. They're going to go where the money is, aren't they?
Of course.
So they do have to change. If they don't change it, Volandis will just keep eating them for breakfast.
The coin in New South Wales is out of control for what they're getting, and people bag it out, going, "Oh, they've upped the prize money for this, or they've upped the money, and now the Everest is worth this, or the highway is now this." Fuck, do something about it. Put some coin behind your races, and you know what I mean. Like, they bag New South Wales racing, but that I don't know.
I agree.
Bet type. Do you like having a quaddie? Would you rather nail a quaddie 100% or a first 4 100% in a main race? Obviously, I don't care about like standing Anamoe out in the first 4 or whatever. But if you were to nail like a nice first 4 or a good quaddie on the weekend, what are you getting?
Nah, good quaddie.
Yeah, I have to agree.
It's a ride. It's a journey. The quaddie's a journey. It's an hour of preparation creating the quaddie.
Tell you a sick thing. This is pissed me off, right? So, quaddie early quaddie yesterday. Stood out.
Early quaddies.
Yeah, so wanted to get on it. Anyway, I don't like this rule, but when they give you a substitute. So, Tommy was on fire, $2 favorite, race 4 or whatever it was, and it was going to win. It's gun, it was $2, stood it out. So I stood out the first leg, stood out the second leg, stood out the fourth leg, and they had 2 in the other. So I was getting a good percentage of the third quaddie.
Yeah. And
it gets scratched behind the barriers. I'm like, oh fuck! Like, who do I get? Quickly looking, and I'm pretty sure it gives you the next favorite or whatever it is. And then 6 gun was there was 2 favorites, so 2 equal favorites. I'm like, what happens here? I'm like, I have no idea. So I'm like banking on 6 gun or Star Cherie. I'm like, maybe they go to the tote. Like, whoever starts winning on the toe. I had no idea. Obviously, they gave it to the one I didn't have. And, man, so brutal. I'm so cut.
Did you get the rest?
Of course. That was the last leg.
Oh, that's fine.
Anyway.
I'm pretty sure if they're equal favourite, they give it to the top weight.
Yeah. Hurts. Pretty curious.
I reckon quaddie. Yeah, quaddie over first 4. Like, anything that you can do where you sit down, carry on with your mates, talking about who you're going to pick. Then you wait 4 or 5 races for it to start, and then you're in the last leg. Like, that's a journey.
I'm not going to ask any I'm not going to really ask many of the jockey ones. Like, there's no point in saying like J-Mac, Tommy, Hugh, Jason Collett, whatever. But I do have one question on the girls. So girls are obviously doing really well in the last couple of years and stepped it up. Obviously, Jamie Carr is one of the greats down in Melbourne. I really like Rachel King in Sydney. I know that she can win any race on her day. Who's your go-to out of the girls? Can you compare now that they're riding in 2 different states?
I think you probably could. Rachel King do what Jamie Carr did last year in Melbourne? I don't reckon.
Probably not.
But I don't reckon because Jamie Carr initially didn't get the rides. Like, she was actually making the rides win, and then now because she's so well known and she's become this like gun jockey, she now gets the rides with it. I don't know if Rachel King has that same aura about her. I love her on a front runner though. Like,
but you know what? She's doing it really tough. She's got to look at the jockey room that she's up against. Tommy, Hugh, J-Mac, Collett.
The riders in Sydney versus Melbourne is a joke.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. You're comparing her, like, Jamie's getting some sick rides. Rachel's got 5-6 blokes in front of her who are getting the better rides a majority of the time.
Yeah, maybe the question is, could Jamie come up and do what Rachel's doing?
Yeah.
She probably could.
No, maybe. Last question. Where does Pike fit in coming to Sydney? Can he crack the top 5 jocks in Sydney?
It's so interesting. I rate Parham more than Pike already. Like Chrissy
Really?
Parham. Yep.
Yeah.
Promise. He's a gun.
Could work. Imagine like Randwick, we've seen some back markers win at Randwick. Can he, Pikey in the last?
I don't know. And racing the other way too.
Yeah, true.
So used to racing that way. I don't know. I think he can. He's strong. Like he's a bit like Ollie, like can give a horse an extra length in that last 100 or 200. And he really gets those legs going, doesn't he?
He gets horizontal.
He can definitely crack it. It'll be interesting to see who he starts sort of riding for. I wouldn't be surprised if Godolphin
They've already said, a bunch of them have already said they'd give him rides. Yeah, a bunch of trainers already said, yeah, we'll support him. So
it's great for Sydney racing. That's good for, because how many people just bet at Ascot or Belmont because he's riding? Like he's going to go up. I don't know, probably another couple of percent just because he's racing. So
especially whatever he's on in the last, whatever he's on in the last, people are going to be starting backing 100%. I'll be one of them, at least for the start.
For sure.
All right, mate. Good little rapid fire there. Hopefully we can get some Moonee Valley done. What else you got planned for the weekend? Any footy training, any trials yet?
Got training tomorrow. Saturday. We got first day at new school tomorrow as well, which would be good.
Good luck, mate. Got rid of the mullet, kept the frullet.
I know. I look like a new man. My mum actually liked the mullet, and when I got home and she looked at like she just couldn't believe it. She's like, "You've shaved 6 years off. You look so young." Like, so I'm Persian, so the hair grows pretty quick. It doesn't take very long, but yeah, training Saturday and then straight into a bit of a punt, I reckon.
All right, mate. Well, sick. Well, hopefully that goes well. I suggest maybe put some tips out on the page on Saturday. We'll do some on Instagram, but that page is getting a lot of people are sort of getting involved with that now. So chuck them up Saturday morning and I'll do the same. Hopefully we can fucking land some. So, mate, go to bed. We're at 11 o'clock Thursday night and you're day one of your new job tomorrow, mate. So good luck.
On a school night.
On a school night. All right, bro.
Awesome, mate.